Hello, everyone, and welcome back to season two, episode three of the College Chess Podcast. My name is Joe, and I'm once again joined by my fellow host, Max, as well as our newest hire and our newest college growth manager, Xander Evans. Xander, you got the job about a week ago, and I guess this is technically your second week working for chess.com. You're the newest member of the team. You're effectively replacing Mauricio. So I see we got a poll in the chat right now. But yeah, Xander, I'm excited to welcome you and hopefully you get some college growth uh, questions from ambassadors and viewers. So welcome.
Thank you, Joe. I'm happy to be here. I'm really excited. This is my first podcast that I've ever appeared on. So let's have a blast. Let's dig in.
Awesome. So first off, I wanted to talk a little bit with you and Max about what's been happening in college chess this last week, specifically the Collegiate Chess League. So I'm thinking the podcast is going to be a bit of a review of last week and a little bit of foreshadowing for the upcoming weekend. So last week, for those of you that missed it, we watched two matches on the CCL broadcast, which is on the main chess channel, twitch.tv/chess. We watched University of Texas, Dallas take down Mizzou for Mizzou's first loss of the season. They had Oparin, their top board, out playing in like some team Euro Cup in Europe. And I think like Magnus's team won first. I don't know if you guys heard or saw anything about that.
Yeah, Magnus's team. Magnus swept the floor with pretty much everybody.
Nice. Yeah, I actually didn't watch too much of that, but apparently that's where Oparin was. So his team paid the price dearly with their first loss this season. They lost 9-7 to a very strong Dallas team who maybe could have beaten them regardless of Oparin being there or not. But that was the first match. And then the second match, we watched U Chicago take down University of Virginia. So that was a pretty fun match. Do you have any ties to Chicago, Max?
To U Chicago, I've met some of their players, but I'm always pulling for them, especially as a non-scholarship school. You got to pull for them. And A Wonder was experimenting with the openings as well.
Yeah,
which was interesting.
Did you hear about that?
I heard a little bit about it. I saw a little bit this weekend, but I heard it didn't go perfectly for him though.
So, Xander, do you know anything about A Wonder Leong?
Yeah, very promising young talent. What was the opening? Did we see an H4?
H4, H5, yeah. On one of them at least.
Well, that's rare. It's bold.
That was his game 4 against Virginia's top board, Jason Moorfield, who I believe is actually an ambassador, right?
Yep. Shout out Jason.
From the East Coast, one of Mauricio's guys, I guess. Or didn't you have like Virginia at some point, Max? I don't know.
Yeah. I went there. I actually met Jason and the Virginia squad 2 years ago, believe it or not.
Wow.
When I met them, I think it was. Nah, a year ago. Everything's mixed up.
I was gonna say it's like ancient
No,
times.
it would have been a year and a half, yeah, almost 2 years ago. But now Jason's even better, arguably.
Did you guys play when you guys met up?
Yeah, I mean, well, I didn't play against Jason, but I did play against some of the other guys. Jason gives he'll do classes sometimes for the club because he's really good, and he loves the game.
Okay. Nice.
Is A Wonder also technically an ambassador?
No, he's not.
No.
No.
Who do they got at U Chicago?
Well, it was Steven, but now it's someone else.
Yeah, Steven. That's why I thought maybe it was A Wonder.
No, it's not A Wonder.
But yeah, I mean, you just recently left Chicago. I agree with you though. Like you kind of have to root for them. They're kind of like an underdog, like really strong team that's not a scholarship school. But they're gonna actually take on one of the scholarship schools this upcoming weekend. We have U Chicago versus SLU, which I'm very excited to watch. U Chicago actually had an upset win over SLU back in season 3 in the semifinals, and that's the season that they went on to win. And U Chicago remains the only non-scholarship school to win the CCL championship. So that'll be a really exciting match. Xander, do you know anything about this SLU team?
Well, I know it's a really strong team. Just leafing through their lineup, you see some titled players there. Joe, can you tell me a little more about that?
Well, obviously they got Benjamin Bach, who's like a big streamer. They've got Robbie Kevlashvili. I mean, I think last time we watched them play, they had three GMs, and then their board four, they had Talia, who is actually playing the U.S. Women's Championship right now. So actually, there's like four women in the U.S. Championship right now that are all in college. It's Jennifer Yu at Harvard, Carissa Yip at Stanford, Talia from SLU, and Begim from Mizzou. So that's actually kind of crazy how much college talent there is just in like the women's tournament. So really honored to have some of them at least playing the CCL. I think we don't have Jennifer or Carissa this year, but Jennifer's definitely played in the past. Maybe we get them next semester.
That's a stout SLU lineup. How far do you see them going this season?
Well, they're the favorite to win for sure. I think anything less than that will be upsetting for them. But they won last year, so they're the defending champs. They're the only school to have won the CCL championship twice. So you never know though. Like we saw with Mizzou, they lost to Dallas because they're missing their top players. So like some of these weeks they don't have everyone. I think Oparn is playing at Qatar right now with Magnus. Are you guys keeping up with that event at all?
There's been some developments today.
You want to fill us in, Max?
Yeah, I mean, for those of you that have not seen yet, Magnus lost to his lowest rated opponent ever, I think, in a classical game, 2,500 rated player from Kazakhstan. And after the game, Magnus dropped a couple tweets saying that the player he was playing sat down with the watch on his wrist, and not saying that the watch did anything to help him, but it distracted Magnus. That's what he said. He said it distracted him, it got him off his game, and made him think the organizers aren't doing enough to curb cheating and curb this stuff. Even though it's just an analog watch, arguably there's nothing wrong with it, but that unnerves top players, and when the best player in the world takes a loss like that.
Did you see the watch?
I didn't see the actual watch, but
the watch
so much in a watch. I'm not here to speculate though.
I saw it on X, and it's a big watch. I think it's like you said, just an analog watch. But I mean, I saw a little GIF, that watch going up. It's got a huge face. I don't know.
Yeah.
So.
Wait, so okay, you say X and you say GIF.
Yeah, those are both wrong.
That's two strikes in like one sentence.
Wow.
I still call it Twitter. But...
Twitter. It was crazy.
Okay, I didn't see the watch, but what's funny is I did see an ad for a watch under Magnus's tweet. So it was perfectly placed. I don't know if that's some Twitter ad algorithm plan, but that's funny, dude. I don't know, Xander, you played obviously we went to this meetup last week and you played in a tournament. And I know I saw you beating up on Mauricio a little bit. Was that your first ever tournament, or have you played before?
That was my first ever over the board tournament. It's a blast. Chess is obviously high pressure, and it's exciting enough as it is, getting down to 20 seconds on the clock in an online blitz match. But it's a different ball game when there's stakes on the end of the line, and you're really trying to advance to the next round. And you don't want to be at board 60 in the playing hall. You want to be near board 1. So, yeah, I love it. Definitely gonna do it again. Yeah, it was a blast.
So, and I know you and Mauricio traded a few games as well. Like, I was wondering, did you notice if he had a watch on while he beat you?
Now that you mention it, I'll recall my memory. There may have been a watch. But I won't attribute my losses to his watch. Mauricio is an exceptional up-and-coming talent that we have to look out for. So,
wow. Well, I tried to give you an out there to follow in the footsteps of Magnus Carlsen, but you're accepting the loss as is. Very admirable.
Mauricio's out here trying to deflect suspicion by telling us it's an electronic watch.
Well, those are actually the ones that are banned in
Yeah.
tournaments. So Mauricio may be outing himself a little bit here. Um,
Xander, we got a question for you in the chat. Where are you from?
Where am I from? What a great question. I grew up in Baltimore, Maryland. As of late, I went to school at Tulane University down in New Orleans. That's sort of where home base is right now. But if you can tell from my surroundings, I'm in a log cabin right now. It's in New Hampshire. So for today, for the immediate future, I'm going to say New Hampshire to that question. But it tends to oscillate
But
from a few,
you got the
few different
you
locations.
got the Baltimore phone number, right? That's the area code defines where you're
Yeah,
from.
that 443, got to represent. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I got the 734, that's the Southeast Michigan. So shout out.
oh, you guys, I got that special St. Louis area code. It's 314 pi.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's actually
No way.
impressive. I'm sort of jealous of that. That's pretty good.
I
Yeah.
mean, that's my birthday, dude. I'm born on 314.
Pi day. Well, I got your area code as or your
That's
birthday
right.
is yeah. So I'm not gonna share any other numbers on top of that, but
Yeah, that's
uh,
where we leave it at.
yeah, Xander, it's good to have you as the newest growth manager. Maybe like for some of the people watching, how did you get into chess and like what made you even apply for the job? Like, were you already interested in working for chess.com? Did someone tell
Yeah.
you about it? Like, how did you get into it?
Yeah, let's go through it. So we'll start at the very beginning of my chess career. It was fourth grade. I joined chess club, like all grades do. And just kidding, I'm not great. And yeah, I think the reason I kept showing up to chess club was because of a 50-cent soda sale that the proctor held every Wednesday from 3 to 4. That's when we had our club meetings. Remember it like it was yesterday. So I don't know if it was specifically explicitly for the chess itself, but that was my first exposure to the game. Many years transpired before my next encounter with chess. I might say it was actually my freshman year of college. So going back to 2019, going into 2020, the pandemic, obviously a ton of people hopped on the chess wave. And I thought maybe this is just a passing phase, but I've played every day for probably 3 or 4 years. And so it's not a phase, Mom. It's for real. And yeah, I've included chess in different areas of my life, especially over the past year and a half, I'd say. I taught a chess class to kindergartners at a French immersion school, which it went about as well as you might think it did. Some of them wanted to play. It was great. Some of them were just there to throw the pieces at each other. But
It's pretty on brand for a kindergartner.
yeah, that's how it goes. And I also led some backpacking trips during the past 2 summers, and so I would bring a little roll-up chessboard, on trail with us, and at lunch or when we set up camp, wherever it may be, we have an hour of downtime, get the board out, and it's a great way to introduce a lot of new players to the game. Yeah.
So it started out because of the 50-cent soda deal.
Yeah, it probably did.
What's your soda go to?
It was always Sprite. A late afternoon Sprite after a long day at school. It's just undefeated. So
I
yeah.
mean, I'm pretty sure there's a Sprite in my fridge right now.
Maybe with Xander's name on it.
I mean, it's a late afternoon Sprite. It's calling right now.
True.
So I think that's actually really cool that I know Chaco, she was our previous podcast guest saying she's taking notes. But it's a good idea. Like I think like people get free pizza a lot of times. They get funding for snacks or like catering or whatever. Like there's a lot of good ideas that chess clubs could utilize to try to bring people in, go for the food, stay for the chess. And you mentioned like going to the chess club in college. What do you think are some good ideas that college chess clubs could implement to maybe make the club more exciting and more appealing to like a more general audience?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think the biggest thing is just getting the game in front of people in very busy areas. And so a really common way to do that back at Tulane with Tulane Chess Club, we loved human chess right there, basically on the quad, on the diag. It's eye catching to see a bunch of people fit in these little squares and that guy's, hopping around like a knight. Like, what's going on over there? When you see such a commotion, even if you're not a chess player, I would want to figure out what it is. And so then, if the chess club is an inviting community and if they're, affable and ready for new people, which they should be, they'll welcome newcomers and try and expose them to the game and make people realize that chess can be for everyone. It is for everyone. It's not this gate kept, secret game that only, wizards in a high tower can play. It's for everybody.
But wizards are allowed to play in the high tower.
Yeah,
if needed.
True.
But I think that's such a good point. Both of your points and how they play into each other, like that. Playing in public is one thing, and that's great, and like that can be cool. But if the people that you run into are not inviting and they're not there to because chess is intimidating. Even for us that play all the time, I openly am always saying I'm not that great at it. Like, so there's no, there's a lot of times people go into this fear of like I'm just gonna get crushed every time, and it's sad, like whatever, and it's like nah, like we're all losing all the time. So better to give yourself a chance. Start learning, and then that's the fun part. It's like the same reason that I play video games too. It's like I'm not always winning at my video games, but I'm enjoying, getting better and learning and seeing what's better.
That's got to be one of my favorite things about chess too, is the well is so deep that you can just keep going back to it for the rest of your life and learn something new pretty much every day. And I can't name a single human being that wouldn't benefit from that. Maybe it's out of interest, maybe it's an interest in history, maybe it's an interest in strategy. There's something for every single person on this planet in the game of chess.
It's true. And chess.com is making it crazier too. Like Blitz champs, and I'm not a GM championship and Pog champs. It's like, it's not anymore like Magnus versus Fabi is the only thing to watch. Like you can tune into 2 400 rated Texas football players getting scholars mated.
That's often more exciting, in my opinion, is getting like the crazy low-rated stuff. Queens are hanging for 8 moves. No one's doing anything. It's incredible.
Chaos.
Did you guys watch Blitz Champs? Was that yesterday? No, 2 days ago.
2 days ago, yeah.
Yeah, it was a couple days ago.
So for anyone that's
awesome.
Not aware, Chess.com has done a couple Blitz Champs tournaments where we take college football players and put them into a chess tournament. We've done one with University of Michigan, Stanford, and just most recently University of Texas, which is really exciting. I know we've helped set that up a little bit. Maybe most of the work was done before we actually got you onboarded, Xander. But Max, you want to talk a little bit about like Blitz Champs and maybe what's to come?
Yeah, so we've done 3 installments now, like you said, Michigan, Stanford, and Texas. So this means that the University of Michigan football team that's currently undefeated in number 2 are, that we grabbed 8 of their football players, some of their top players for this year, Cornelius Johnson, Roman Wilson, who are both balling up, and they played each other in a chess tournament, and it was all live, streamed on Chess TV on chess.com, and it was chaos. Nobody is that great, and it was just super fun to watch all these players like engage in the game of chess, and meanwhile, some Stanford players picked up on it. They saw the stream. They were like, wait, we can pull this off. So all of a sudden there was a Stanford Blitz Champs in the works, and we got Stanford team to do the same thing, an 8-player tournament bracket. And just like that, Texas noticed, and they're like, hey, we can do something like this. And now we've got Texas, and we even had our ambassador from Texas who was coaching the football players. So once we got connected with the football players, we turned right to the ambassadors right away, and we're like, hey, can you guys help us? So you're an ambassador, and you're like, man, I want to hang out with the football team. This is your perfect opportunity. We get an in with them. You're the first person we'll call up for coaching or help with the campus logistics and stuff like that. And now that the Texas one is over, we're looking for the next football one, but it doesn't have to be football. We're looking into some basketball teams, maybe a hoops champs, maybe a soccer champs, maybe a field hockey champs. Whatever you may be connected to, you can pull it off. The main thing is that chess.com has seen that it works and that it's cool, and we're ready to support, ready to help out, which is really, really awesome.
One of my favorite parts from the broadcast was when Chidobe Awuzie came on as a guest host, and I know he was involved with the NFL Blitz Champs edition. But seeing him, as a prolific cornerback on the NFL field, and also really be able to banter about chess and get down and get gritty with some of the moves, it was super cool. And I look at him in a new light, and I have a lot of admiration for him too.
Yeah, I was watching that stream and I love that like Hess was trying to ask him some questions and like he just completely was absorbed by the chess games and like he just wanted to analyze and commentate on the chess, which I think is just awesome. Like any viewer can relate to that where you're like really invested in the players that are playing and you see like the game and you're like, oh my gosh, like the eval bar just had a huge swing. Like what move did he play? What move did he miss? And I think it's events like that are really exciting and can get a lot more attention into especially like college chess. So Xander, I wanted to ask you, obviously Max mentioned like maybe doing some other sports for these kind of events, but like what do you want to see? Obviously we've done 3 Blitz Champs so far. Do you have any other ideas that maybe some college schools could try to implement? Maybe like they don't have a big sports like community or maybe they don't have a football team. Like what other ideas could schools do?
Yeah, totally. So in my work, I have a few goals, but one of them is to connect all of the chess playing population on any given campus. So the easiest way to do that is obviously to go to the chess club. But for a lot of people that are new to chess, going to chess club might be a commitment that they're not ready for. For instance, when I was in class, I look around the room, and I was totally guilty of this pretty much every day. I see the computers, and some random people in the corner of the room are playing chess. And I don't know if they're part of the chess club or not, but I just want to make some type of community network for everyone to find on any given campus, to find chess joy, chess enthusiasm, etc. I love the aspect of competition. The CCL does this in an amazing way of getting schools to go up against each other. I want to make that as accessible and as frequent as possible for everyone to be able to, for any Tulaneans to say, okay, we're going up against Ole Miss like on Thursday. Let's practice a little bit. We're going to beat them because, there's nothing like organic rivalry, organic competition. You just can't find it through any other, incentivization. It's purely out of the love for the game, out of the love for your school. So I want to foster that competition as much as possible.
You mentioned Tulane, and I see Carter's in the chat, and maybe some other fans from Tulane. And you mentioned Ole Miss. Like, is that like your main rival?
I wouldn't say Ole Miss is our main rival. We just lost to them in football a couple weeks ago, so it's still sore. It's still bitter. But no, I don't know who I would. I mean, there's some interstate rivalry, with LSU.
Okay.
We go back and forth with them quite a bit. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Tulane used to be part of the SEC. We got kicked out because we were too good at everything.
Dang.
So,
That's what happened.
Suffering from success.
Yeah.
Who would LSU ever say Tulane's their main rival? I feel like they might have another main rival.
No.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know
probably
those sports
not.
rivalries too much, but Tulane, I know you guys. It's like you guys are green, like, and I heard maybe you have. Is it like a stork or like a seagull or some green wave or some mascot that's interesting?
Yeah, let me clarify real quick. So it's not a stork. We are the Tulane Green Wave. We used to be the Angry Green Wave, but our little emblem, our little logo is this feisty wave. It's pretty sweet. It's pretty sick. But the state bird of Louisiana is the pelican. And so I think Tulane draws inspiration. Riptide is the name of our pelican, in the mascot suit. So you can call it Riptide.
So I
Nice.
wasn't far off with the stork,
You had the aviary
the
component
bird.
going. That's true.
Now I get why they're the New Orleans Pelicans too.
Yes.
Apparently
Yes.
LSU has an actual tiger. I feel like that might be a risk,
Yeah,
a
that
safety
might be a
hazard.
humanitarian issue.
That's Mike the Tiger. I think Mike the
Mike.
Tiger is showered in love and affection on LSU campus most days. But yeah.
Yeah. I know Louisiana has a bunch of schools like LSU obviously is a big one, but I know like University of Louisiana at Lafayette has a chess club.
Hmm.
Um I mean, I don't know too many more honestly, but um I think there's
Yeah,
like
I could
Southern
name a couple
University,
for you.
but yeah, have you guys ever done like a Louisiana only competition?
I don't know if we've ever done a tournament. I believe we've played against Lafayette. Yeah. Carter's obviously in the chat. Carter has been extremely engaged with Tulane chess, especially over the last couple of years. And he's handling things now that I'm out the door and not an official student anymore. But maybe Carter in the chat can chime in and
I think they are going to be doing something like that. I know the Louisiana schools, the chess scene in Louisiana is actually pretty pretty good for most states compared to most states.
yeah.
You
Well,
say
Paul,
roll wave, is that for real, Carter?
yeah, roll wave, baby.
I thought it was
Um,
Riptide.
No
What do
way,
you
that's
say?
hilarious.
Which one is it? Is it both?
Well, we got Paul Morphy. Paul Morphy was from New Orleans, and he actually went to Tulane.
Oh,
Oh yeah?
So when we realized that Tulane, this is 4 years ago, 5 years ago, Tulane didn't have a chess club, we said that's just criminal because Paul Morphy, one of the pioneers of the game in the 19th century,
Yeah.
we have to honor his legacy. I've played the Morphy defense too many times not to invest myself in his legacy fully.
what's the Morphe
Yeah.
defense?
Oh, you want the move order?
I
Oh
mean,
my
I'm
god.
just trying to envision it. I
No,
think
joke it. Get out of here.
there's
I
a.
think it comes out of the Roy Lopez, and I think the entire defense is just kicking the bishop away immediately.
Oh, okay. No, I know.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's like with C3, and then you play D5 at some point. Does that ring a bell?
Dude,
It's ringing bells.
Yeah.
me and Xander
I
are not the greatest for this.
no,
Yeah.
I think it's I might have been confusing with like Morphe Gambit, which
No, I'm
maybe
pretty
it's the
sure
same
Morphe's
name.
defense is in the Lopez.
Yeah, no, I've played it before myself. I think that if your opponent knows what they're doing, it's not the best, but because they like win a pawn, but you get a lot of activity. But yeah, we're not here for the chess analysis. Like, don't let me get carried away. You just start saying some openings and yeah, no, I think it's really cool to play on like these kind of college rivalries and
Hmm.
obviously getting chess involved. And I've actually never been to Louisiana. I'd love to go to like New Orleans sometime. Have you ever been, Max?
No, I was gonna say the same thing. I also am. It's on my list of U.S. cities I haven't been to. I really like to see.
Yeah, so we got to get some recommendations for things to do and places to see and food to eat.
Big time.
Is Tulane close to New Orleans? Is it?
It's in the
Tulane
city,
is
yeah.
smack in the middle of uptown New Orleans. Yeah. New Orleans is a pretty small city, and so it's probably in the greater metropolitan area. You can be from one side to the other in like 30 minutes, 45 minutes by car. It's really pretty small, very tightly knit. If you're looking for a good opportunity to go to New Orleans, there is a wonderful chess fest occurring on November 4th. So in less than a month's time, book your tickets because the historic New Orleans collection, spearheaded by a man that I've worked with before, a great guy named Kendrick. They're putting on a chess fest for all ages. There will be, I believe, a blitz tournament of some type. So
That's
very
awesome.
Wow,
cool.
I didn't know that. That's actually really cool. Do they do that every year?
Yeah, this is the second annual. So it's a young event, but man, the potential is just
We need
busting through the
more
ceiling.
chess fests
Yeah,
throughout
we
the.
do need more chess fests, so that then we can have Chess Con,
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
right? All the chess fests of advertise Chess Con, and that rotates around the country to each city that hosts a chess fest.
What's the first city to host ChessCon if you had your
I
pick of
mean, if we're gonna do it right, it should probably it either would be New York, LA, or St. Louis, in my opinion.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I grew
You
up.
think Charlotte's in the mix there? I know Charlotte has a really promising
Yeah, they have
chess
a big.
environment.
Their chess center is great, but I need Danya to host a chess fest first in Charlotte.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of conventions, Max and I are gonna go to TwitchCon next week.
Next week, yep.
So we're gonna go spread the lovely game of chess to some Twitch streamers. Um,
If
So-
you're at TwitchCon, come to the chess booth.
yeah, I think Xander's on his way there right now.
Right now, he's out to the chess booth.
I hear TwitchCon. I book my tickets. I'm out the door.
Out the
That's
door, he's ready
the
to
way
go.
it
Let's
works.
go. He's already there. All right. Well, have you ever been to Vegas, Xander?
I've been to Vegas. I was really, really young. I was like 7
Wow.
or 8 years old, which I wouldn't say is the prime age for Vegas
Yeah.
tourism. But yeah, I mean, it was a blast. I remember the hotel we stayed at had like a lazy river by the pool, and so I would just float on that thing for hours. And then we went out to Red Rock Canyon. So yeah, it's a cool city.
Starting your gambling addiction early.
That's
Right.
Yeah,
That's right.
that's led you
That was the
onto
purpose of the
your chess career path. There's been a ton of chess players playing poker recently, actually.
Mhm. Yeah.
And
Mhm.
last time I went to Vegas, I played poker at this, I forgot, maybe someone could remind me. I forgot what it's called, but it's like a New Orleans themed casino.
Mm.
Um,
I don't know. I've never been to Vegas. Let's see.
so it'll be your first time, Max.
Well, I've been. I also have been like Xander as a kid, but
Okay. First time as an adult.
first time as an adult, first time on my own. You know, so
On
ready
you're
to
gonna be with
gamble
me,
my
man.
rent money.
You're not gonna be alone.
Well, yeah, I'll be with you, of course, but I mean,
But first time to TwitchCon, right? No, second time. You went last
second,
year.
third
Third?
TwitchCon I've physically been to. My third TwitchCon. Yeah.
What was your first?
San Diego 2022. Then I went to Paris this year.
Oh, you went to Paris. I forgot about that.
I don't have the badge right next to me, but it's over here somewhere.
So now this is your third one. What are you excited about?
I'm excited, dude. I'm excited about our booth, to be honest with you, because it was like all right at the first one. It got better at the second one I've been to, and now it's like this is the third one, and we're really ready to rock. We've got a lot of cool stuff. We're gonna have speed chess, setting up the board as fast as you can. There's gonna be puzzles. There's gonna be a leaderboard. So there's gonna be a lot of cool stuff going down. A lot of chess to be played. And it'll be fun, and it'll be really nice weather from what I saw.
Any streamers you're looking forward to see?
I heard that ChessCom Chief Chess Officer Danny Wrench will be there. It's always cool to see him. And
Well,
then
we saw him last week.
we did see him last week, but not everybody has the privilege to see Danny Wrench on a weekly basis.
Well, we're gonna see him in the green pawn suit. That's the big
I'm
difference.
hoping to see him in a green pawn suit, at least roaming TwitchCon. Look out for it on social media. But there's gonna be a lot of really cool creators. I don't know if Canty's gonna be there, but he's another Michigander. So
You've met him,
excited.
right?
No, I haven't met Canty. I really
What?
want to.
I met Canty.
Yeah, really good guy. I know Nemo will be there, and that'll be sweet.
We saw her
Maybe we'll do some
last
simultaneous
year.
again. Yeah.
Did you get a chance to play her or no?
No, I didn't play her. No.
You didn't want to embarrass her.
Embarrass her, sure.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Canty I met at Sacramento. He was doing commentary today at the I'm Not a GM
Oh yeah.
SEC.
Hopefully he'll be a GM one day.
We'll see. He still has to make IM first.
I know.
Although it's possible you could skip IM and just go straight for
Go
GM.
GM, yeah.
But that's very rare.
Quite the feat, yeah.
Yeah, are there any streamers that you like to watch, Xander?
Yeah, I'd say Chessbra is right there at the top for me. It's just a soothing environment. Got some gentle house music in the background while Eric and Aman, utterly obliterate these fools on stream. It's something oddly satisfying about it, and I love the speed runs they do. I'd say first and foremost, though, Daniel Naroditsky. I mean, he's my OG for content. He's like my chess teacher. If I had
Yeah.
to choose one out of anybody, he's just so like eloquent
Yeah.
and articulate in his explanations. Like I would just tune in just to hear him talk and use these phrases like Frankfurt Airport or can't make an omelet without breaking some eggs. Thank you, Danya.
No, what a guy. It's crazy because I have a very similar experience too. Like Danya's the same. He's the guy that got me. I swear I gained like 200 elo just from Danya.
Oh yeah. Yeah, big time.
At least like guys. And like you said, he loves it. He loves the words, loves using metaphors and similes.
Yeah.
But there's even a compilation on chess.com socials of him shocking his co-commentators with his extensive vocabulary.
I have to look at that.
It's
That's
really
amazing.
funny. It's really funny.
Classic Danya
He's the-
is his impersonations.
Yeah.
Oh,
Those are
yeah.
spot on. Yeah.
Kasparov impersonation is spot on. Yeah.
Well, he's fluent in Russian, to be fair to him. So
Right. Right. He's the sole reason I'm playing, or I started playing the hyper accelerated dragon. Actually not hyper, just the accelerated dragon. So, getting that fianchettoed bishop on G7, there's just, doesn't get much better.
Yeah, he's inspired my openings as well. I play the fantasy line in the Caro Khan as well as the Alpen against the Sicilian. But I don't think he'll be at TwitchCon. I've never met him in person. I've done some commentary with him at last year's Pan Ams, which is a big college tournament, so pretty relevant for us. And I'm thinking like TwitchCon is really fun. Obviously, we're trying to recruit a lot of streamers to stream chess, and Max and I are going to be there, keeping an eye out for any colleges. Last year, I think we met up with someone from the esports team at Brown University. And obviously, like UNLV is right there, so we've been talking a little bit with them. I'm wondering, like, how do we get more college chess streamers, right? Obviously, we have like Bach is a big one. We had Jules Gambit on as our first episode of this season as a guest. Chess Tina is another streamer that comes to mind from UC Riverside. So, Xander, do you know? I think like maybe Carter's interested in streaming. Like, how do we get more college chess streamers out there?
Yeah, it's a good question. Well, the good thing about streaming is that the barriers to entry are so low, where all you need is a Wi-Fi connection, a laptop, and a persona, and then you'll be able to get at least a few viewers. But I think step one in terms of our job, what we do is to continue to foster this competition and give viewers a reason to tune in. I think the CCL is obviously one of the primary avenues for that at the moment. I plan on, and I'm excited to join in on some CCL content in the coming weeks. But for anybody else, I would love to see some type of collegiate streamers doing some weekly blitz arenas, just even more informal stuff, just that they can really get some exposure, get their names out. Also, I might add that I think there's a vacuum of chess influencers, chess streamers in the like 800 to 1500 range. We see so many amazing players that, for good reason, they can explain concepts and they can help other people get better at chess. But for pure entertainment value, like we were saying, amateur chess really offers, a different take on the game, I should say. And seeing the eval bar go up, down, north, south all the time is just, it's pretty exciting. And so I think no matter what your rating is, your skill level, your backgrounds, you're able to carve out a little niche in this digital environment.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I got to give a shout out to Hunter Wiz, who is also college age. He's over in Florida, but he's going to be at TwitchCon. And we first actually met him last year at TwitchCon in San Diego, and he wasn't even streaming chess at that point. He just came up as a fan, and after that, he was like, you know what, maybe I should start streaming some chess. And like within that year, he actually got partnered not only with the chess.com program, but also with Twitch directly. So he's kind of a great success story of any college age kid that is interested in getting into chess and maybe, like you said, isn't the best player in the world, but is in that like kind of intermediate range where there's actually a large potential for viewers that can like better relate to that and just want to be watching games for fun and are entertained. And Hunter's a very entertaining guy. If anyone has a chance to go check him out, but he's going to be at the booth again. So it's cool to see people really like grow and improve in that space and in the chess community over that kind of time span because it's really quick growth and there's tons of potential. And I hope that more college kids can really get into it. So, have you ever considered streaming yourself, Xander? I mean, you feel like a pretty good natural fit here on the podcast.
It's really fun. I've never actually considered seriously going for the streaming stuff. But look, I'm right there in that rating range. I'm not very good. I'm nothing to sneeze at, but I'm nothing to write home about. So maybe, if the viewers in the chat think this went well, then maybe I'll make
Yeah.
another appearance on the digital sphere somewhere.
I know Max has always considered it. I don't know if he's ever pulled the trigger.
No, I haven't yet to pull the trigger. Well, first I gotta buy a better camera and a better mic, huh?
You're upgrading your computer, right?
My monitor most likely, yeah. But
Uh,
need to get a webcam to put on top of it, I think.
I don't know, you look pretty good from here.
Thanks, I know you got my bag.
Yeah.
Xander Zila, 111.
Is that right?
Oh, I
Ivan,
forgot a
true.
one.
Ivan wants
Forgot a
to
one.
play you, maybe. Ivan's our ambassador from Fresno State out on the West Coast. Maybe gonna come down to LA next month for some chess tournament. We'll see. Uh, we got Xander in the chat, 3K Elo, that fresh mod badge.
Nobody fact check that. Just believe me on that one.
Yeah,
No need to
yeah.
fact
It's hard
check
to fact check the mods, because they can delete your messages, right? So,
it.
um, anyways, Xander, I feel like there's a lot to happen in college chess in the upcoming year or so, and I'm really glad that you're part of the team now. So hopefully you can make some fun stuff happen. So, yeah, I know like Max has been part of the ambassador program since the beginning, and it's crazy to see like how much it's changed and grown, and to see all the different ambassadors and schools joining is really cool. So, I'm hoping that you get to kind of experience that as well and see like all these different people joining and maybe getting new schools to join. I know like we recently had a new ambassador from Caltech join. So yeah, I'm really excited for you and hopefully you can like start making some connections to these ambassadors yourself. So appreciate all the ambassadors tuning in.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions for Max and me, Xander, before we start to head out?
What's the hardest thing that you've done in this role? What was the biggest challenge? What remains the biggest challenge, and what consumes the most of your mental space?
Wow, that's a difficult question. Probably different for Joe than for me.
Yeah, I mean, Max and I have slightly different roles. Obviously, I'm not a growth manager anymore, so I'm not like directly in charge of the ambassador program like I once was, once upon a time. So I'm like more working on the CCL, which has its own very unique and difficult tasks. But like as far as the ambassador program goes, I would say the most difficult thing is trying to maintain relations with like every ambassador because it's seemingly impossible. I try my best to be able to like personalize messages and like respond to everyone individually. Like we do a lot of outreach with emails and like sending bulk emails where it feels kind of like impersonal or like less connected. So I try to keep things informal and try to keep things loose and make it more personal. So it's hard when you see like a school join and like an ambassador join that's maybe initially really excited, and then over the course of the school year lots of work gets piled on them just naturally, and not everyone has the same amount of dedication and time to spend on chess, which is understandable.
Mhm.
but ultimately, like, you'll find the right people that are just going to be like a great fit in the program, and have that kind of time to spare and that passion really for chess. And those are the kind of relationships that you want to kind of spend some more time on and really try to foster that and grow that, because I think those are the ambassadors that are going to make the biggest impact in the program.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Max, you got anything?
No, I mean, that's a great answer, honestly. I mean, yeah, one of the most difficult, this fly is trying to kill me. Okay. One of the most difficult things is finding striking that good balance between ambassador, how much can they do for us and what we can do for them, and how can we maximize that for both of us. Because we could give out merch forever and, it could do nothing, but we could also not give out merch at all, and that would suck. So, like, how do we find where it's like we give out the right amount of merch so that, people on campus are like, I heard that chess club is lit, man. I heard they have shirts. Like, that's so cool. But also, like, the ambassadors are like, well, people know about it because we put on this dope event, right? We put on this dope public chess thing. We played a simul, whatever. So, striking that balance is difficult because, like, and the best way to do it, it alludes right to what Joe said, or goes right back to what Joe said, which is, the relationships. If you have good connections with the ambassadors themselves have good connections with the school, there's a lot that can be done. A lot can happen. And it's our jobs to help them do that stuff. I mean, we're ready with the merch, with the memberships, whatever help they need. And, something like Blitz Champs, or it doesn't even have to be with the sports team. I mean, if you do it with the Democrats versus Republicans, if you do Tulane University Pog Champs, like, it doesn't matter what the event is, hit us up and we're gonna turn around and turn to chess.com and be like, we need your help.
Mm-hmm.
So,
big time.
Yeah.
The first step for all that, for me, if we have ambassadors here as viewers, is for me to meet you and to get to know you. So be on the lookout for messages from me. I can't wait to meet every single one of you, whether it's individually or in bulk in some type of call or some type of correspondence. There's work to be done. Exciting things are coming, and I'm happy to. I'm really excited to be part of them. So,
yeah,
awesome. Yeah. Well, I had to ask. Max mentioned Tulane Pog Champs. Who do you think would be the winner?
Tulane Pog Champs. Wow, what a question. We've got some strong players.
Is it Carter?
It's really tough. Carter's right there at the top.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give Carter his due credit. Mikey, there's a guy named Mikey who's also pretty strong. I would look out for an epic duel between those two. That's all I'll say.
Okay. Well, what about the consolidation bracket?
The consolidation bracket? The consolation bracket.
Sorry.
I can also name a few names that should just immediately be put in the consolation bracket. Or go the main draw. Let's just go to the consoles for them. No, my former roommate, Mr. Jack, he should just immediately just be sent to the consoles. But no, we got a fun club. We got a great crew. Everyone, hey, you never know. Maybe an 800 has the day of their life and they're scoring 99 accuracies every single game.
They just wear a nice watch,
Yeah. I can't predict the future, but those two I would look out for.
All right. Well, awesome. And really appreciate having some of them tune in. So yeah, this has been great. I think next week we might not have an episode because Max and I are going to be at TwitchCon. But we do have some really exciting guests lined up on the way. So definitely keep an eye out for our future podcast episodes. You can find all the previous ones on YouTube, but they're going to be live streamed here on Twitch as well as YouTube. But yeah, that's it for episode 3. Xander, you've been great, and you got a lot more to come. Max, as always, it's been a pleasure. Want to thank everyone one final time for watching. This is the College Chess Podcast, which is now sponsored by SIG. So thanks, shout out to them. And yeah, tune in this weekend for the main broadcast of Division 1 CCL. We've got UChicago versus SLU, as well as UTRGV versus Yale. It's going to be Texas's first time on broadcast this season. It's week 4, which is basically the halfway point of the regular season. So lots of exciting chess to come up. Hope to see you all there. Thanks once again. Have a great rest of your week. And yeah, we'll see you guys next time.